Hello everybody and welcome back to Mounties Midweek. I'm Drew Patrick. This week we review one of the craziest weekends of the fall with LUMA and Salute the Troops weekend, meet a new face in the sports information department, and get to know the personalities of the field hockey team. This past weekend was the annual Light Up Mansfield Again game for the Mansfield Sprint football team. The defending CSFL South champion University of Pennsylvania came into town. Mansfield didn't wait long to strike.
And we are underway in the John Evans era. This one bounces back. Quinn Henry grabs it around the 5 to the 20, trying to cut up, has a hole, 40, 50, Quinn Henry, hello, goodbye, thank you, and good night. That is a touchdown for Mansfield. What a way to start off the season.
Quinn Henry, 93 yards, and the score to put Mansfield up 6-0. Later in the first, Penn now leading. Hutchison back and finds Seville Pope, who is G-O-N-E gone.
15, 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown!
Penn answered with 2 scores of their own after. Second quarter, Hutchison looking for DJ McLean in the end zone. Yes! McLean wins that battle, and Mansfield would make this a 1-possession game. The second half was all Penn's Eddie Jenkins, who accounted for 3 more scores, part of 7 on the day, and Penn spoils LUMA with a 54-21 victory. Mansfield travels to Chestnut Hill on Friday for a CSFL South contest in Philadelphia. The field hockey team opened up their week on Wednesday as they took on conference opponent IUP in a non-conference fair. Early in the contest, Christy Beyer on the goal, and Mansfield is on the board first. The game, however, would be tied at the end of regulation. In overtime, off the corner, get ready for the graphic to come back because it's Mott's watch. Larissa Mott lays out after the pass from Beyer for the overtime winner. Mansfield would move to 3-0 on the season. Then Sunday, Queen's University of Charlotte, the opponent. Amber Prince would be the first Mountie on the board just over a minute in.
First one, second attempt, and an early goal for the Mounties. It's Amber Prince.
And after a Royals goal, it's Christy Beyer.
This one loose. Mansfield with a chance ahead to Beyer. One-on-one. She's not losing that battle.
Queens would hang around late and get a goal for the Royals to steal the game from the Mounties. Mansfield travels to Mercyhurst on Wednesday before welcoming the 2-time defending national champion Shippensburg to Carl Van Norman Field Saturday. The women's soccer team kicked off LUMA and Salute the Troops weekend as they welcomed 24th ranked Seton Hill. The Griffins beat the Mounties with a score of 6-0. Stephanie Moyer had 10 saves in the contest. Mansfield takes on Clarion University in another home PSAC matchup next Sunday at 1:30 p.m. Now let's take a look at what else is coming this week. Don't go anywhere. Sports talk on the other side.
It's all part of Mother Nature's perfect blend, the keystone of the Keystone State. Visit Potter Tioga, a 2-county scenic outdoor haven conveniently located, yet worlds apart. A place where you can kick back, unwind, and forget about the pressures of life. Disconnect and reconnect with your friends, family, or even yourself while surrounded by nature's beauty. So start planning your adventures today at visitpottertioga.com.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Sports Talk. Let's go behind the scenes now as we talk with a new face here on campus. It's the sports information intern, Mr. Francesco Palumbo. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks for having me, Drew.
So, at your role, what is exactly your role here as the sports information intern?
Well, with sports information, as you know, there's a wide array of tasks and jobs throughout the seasons and a lot of different roles to fill. So from statistics to writing stories and photography. I mean,
You'll
it's
be
a little
busy.
bit of everything, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Also, let's talk about your background. You were a baseball player at Canton, and what did Canton teach you really that you can excel here in this role?
Canton gave me the opportunity to really get my hands in on a lot of the different activities, a lot of the different sports, and get that experience before moving forward in my career. And I had that sports information background throughout the 4 years, and playing baseball added on to that, obviously. So I kind of had a little bit more of an idea of the behind the scenes, and then moving forward here, I had those experiences kind of help me fill this role here.
And along with the things at Canton, you also had some other professional experience as well before you came here. Tell me a little bit about those.
Well, each step of the way, it's been a great set of mentors I've had. So Canton, I had Mr. Szyminski and Mr. Hart, and they really helped me, like I said, get those experiences. Moving forward, I then got an internship with Steiner Sports in New York City, and I was working with Giants, the New York Yankees, a whole bunch of different athletes were coming to the office every day. And so that was an amazing opportunity in itself. From there, I then interned this spring in St. Lawrence University. And so they have Division I and Division III teams, and it was kind of a combination of all the experiences I've had so far. So I was working with Division I athletes and continuing my sports information backgrounds there. So it was just another great opportunity. So I see each of these steps as just more learning experiences, and I've taken from each of these experiences to continue my own career.
And you know what, I think an underrated aspect is the fact that you were an athlete too. I was not, and clearly it shows. But how does that help, especially filling into this sports information role, being an athlete and being on the student end of things? How does that actually help with this role?
It's really interesting to see the perspective. I think I like to put myself in their shoes sometimes and see where they're coming from after a game, or maybe see the different avenues that they're going, and try and put myself into their position of what they're going through, and adds another perspective, that's for sure.
So far here, what have been the things that really have stood out for you? A couple weeks in now.
Yeah, this is the official 1 week point, I guess. So it's been great. I really appreciate all the people that have been part of the journey so far. So 1 week, I'd say all the people have been great, and it's been just a great community to be a part of so far.
And what has surprised you? Because always, look, I've said this often, when we're putting on something, there's always something that will come up and surprise you. What have been some of the surprises for you this year?
The surprises have been just how great it was. Like, it's lived up to all the expectations, and I was recommended to come here by former intern Janaea Shoemaker, and she just spoke so highly of it, and it's really reached all of those expectations. So I can't complain whatsoever.
And then speaking of expectations, what do you expect moving forward and throughout this whole year?
Well, I definitely expect it to be a great journey. So I know through this first week, obviously, that we're just going to carry that along and just continue to grow.
All right. Well, thank you so much for stopping by here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Drew.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
Welcome back here to Sports Talk. Now let's talk some sprint football as we have a face that we haven't seen. Well, we haven't seen in this setting yet, but of course, the offensive line coach here, Mr. Richard Conrad. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So let's start with this game last week. Penn, of course, it didn't go the way we expected, but what were some of your takeaways from the offensive line perspective?
Yeah, Penn blitzes a lot. They pretty much blitz every play. And for me, offensive line, we picked up the blitzes with the running backs, had good protection when we passed the ball. For run blocking, we had some holes. Sometimes we missed a couple blocks here and there. We just got to clean that up for Chestnut Hill on Friday night.
And the offense, they started very quick in this game. Of course, the kickoff, not an offensive thing, but then that first play, that first drive, able to quickly get down the field. What do you have to do to be able to keep that going?
We just got to have consecutive drives. We try to throw the deep ball many of times, try to just hit a big play like we did against with Seville. Just try to score quickly. For us, we just got to keep getting picked up first downs, just keep driving the field, hold the ball to help our defense out. Against Penn, we didn't really help our defense out. Mm-hmm. We only ran 43 plays to 71. Mm-hmm. So for us, we have to keep the ball, keep picking up first downs, have the play clock go down, have the game clock go down also.
And of course, we've talked about this is a large group of freshmen here,
Yes.
and their first contest. But before we get into there and how they performed, you had a hand in a lot of recruiting. Here you came back from last year here to help recruiting. What were some of the things you guys looked for in these athletes to bring them here?
Yeah, so when Coach John Evans took over in January 6th, I was with the previous staff. He called me up. I was back home in Michigan. He called me, said, "Hey, I'm the head coach now. Do you want to come back?" I said, "Yes." So I came back. We hit the ground running. First day we got back from second semester, and we just went out and recruited. Our first plan was to recruit local kids. Mm-hmm. So we picked up 3 local kids from Wellsboro, got a couple of kids from Williamsport, Tioga, just hit home in the local area to get kids to come to Mansfield. Because just like Wellsboro being down the road, they're a good program. Every year they win. If we can get guys every year to come, we'll get fans to come, their parents to come to watch us, support them. And then we hit a couple areas that Mansfield's never hit before, and a couple areas of Philly, try to get New York, and just we have a saying of our DOP is recruit daily or perish. So every day we're recruiting, sending out emails, calling kids. I run the Twitter account for us, and I was pretty much getting direct messages every day. Every time a kid committed, we'll send a picture and put it on social media, and that was huge for us.
Yeah, and that group of freshmen here, this was arguably the biggest moment and spectacle we're going to have throughout the year, being LUMA.
Yep.
How do you feel the freshmen handled that? Did that point at all get a little too big for them?
Sometimes it did. Like the phrase, they saw a deer in the headlights. Especially, we were pumped so much for the game, and you can't keep that the entire game. Sometimes we have freshmen out there making freshman mistakes, which is how normally it is.
And with just a large group of those freshmen.
So we have a lot of freshmen playing, and a lot of them was their big test, and especially playing their very first actually college football game.
Yeah, and that was no slouch of a team that they had to be thrown out there.
Yeah, Penn is good.
So on your offensive line, actually, a lot of the upperclassmen are. So the leaders on that side of the ball come from the line. How important is it for you as a coach to get them to be able to sort of corral the younger players?
Yeah, we had 3 seniors on offensive line, Steve Sicilia, Tristan Sissio, and Dante Teresi, right guard, right tackle, and center, which is huge for us as offensive line. And then we got a sophomore, Sam Tillman, at left guard, and then freshman Kevin Gamber. We have Tim Banks playing too. He's another freshman. So with 3 seniors, a sophomore, and 2 freshmen playing as offensive line, Tristan, Steve, and Dante are helping the younger guys out, taking them under their wing, especially on offensive line of the different defenses we're going to face game after game and what type of different stunts and twists that the defense does, that they tell them, okay, this is what they did last year. Here's what they did in the past. They got a new DC. Okay, this is what they do. So it helps. It's a huge advantage for us.
You know, one thing that's very interesting, and of course, I made the point in the piece, the Out of His League, when I worked out with you guys, that, like, this is sprint football. So everyone's the same size. So coaching offensive line, really being a big bully and just getting in the way is not an option.
No. So the previous school that was at, back in Michigan, I was a student assistant coaching 6'5", 6'6", over 300 pounds. So for them, they're a little quicker, and for them, you have to have technique. But a lot of times, you just get in front of people, and we'll stop them. In this league, it's all about technique. A couple of times, the defensive line are bigger, taller than us. So low man wins. We drive, you gotta stay low, chop your feet, you gotta be able to push them. So it's all about leverage, keeping low. You definitely gotta shoot your hands and have your hands inside as offensive line, be able to push the defensive guy.
So this week, Chestnut Hill, you travel. It's the first true road game for these freshmen and for this year. What have you seen, or what are you expecting to see from Chestnut Hill?
Yeah, so we got their film yesterday. They played Army. Army's a good team. They play Friday night. So we got their film. They run a 4-1, 4-3 look. When we have slot guys out, the backers are normally out. Last year they played more of a 4-2 and they blitz a lot. Against Army, they didn't really blitz a lot, so we'll see what they do on Friday night. They probably do a little bit both to see. They got a lot of seniors on the defensive side, especially in the front, the D-line and linebackers. They got 5 seniors out of 7 guys, which is huge. It's the senior loaded. They got D-line's one of the best. They're pretty big and fast. So,
you know, this game is also Friday.
Yes.
So for the freshmen, actually, is that a bit of an advantage because that's what their body is comfortable playing on a Friday night fight?
Some would be advantage. Some probably be the same. So today we'll be off, and then we practice Monday or practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday we'll travel. So with walkthrough in between there, it depends. I think depends on the player itself. Because some high schools do play on Saturdays also.
That's true.
So it depends on what level and what high school you went to.
And with last week being a loss, how can you take that adversity that this team felt really for the first time and use that as motivation against Chestnut Hill?
Yeah, we just got to take one play at a time. A lot of our players were hyped up and just want to score quickly, and defense just want to get the turnover and stuff. We just got to take one play at a time. If you mess up, move on. That's what a couple times we made mistakes and was down on ourselves, and we just kept repeating the same mistakes. If you make a mistake, move on, know what you're supposed to do, and do it.
And another game where emotions will come into it. It's a bit of a budding rivalry between us and Chestnut Hill. The game got a little chippy last year. So what do you have to do? I mean, this is more for the older kids on the team as opposed to the freshmen, but especially on a true road game where the crowd's going to be against you, it's a budding rivalry. How do you control the emotions?
We just got to have our senior leaders and our upperclassmen just know, hey, one play at a time. Don't be talking back. If they are talking, just smile at them, get back in the huddle. Because that kind of really makes other people mad. If you're trying to talk and you just don't say anything, it makes it even more mad.
Yeah,
So,
make them blow up as opposed to
instead of us. Yes.
Absolutely. Well, Coach Conrad, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
And Sports Talk rolls on after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back here with more sports talk. Let's talk field hockey now, as we're joined by Christy Byer and Larissa Motz. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks for having us.
So let's start this past week. IUP, it's one of those non-conference conference games.
Yeah.
A big overtime victory. What were some of the standouts for both of you, the goal scorers?
I mean, I don't know. IUP plays tough. Like, they're very scrappy, so it's very intense. And like Coach says, we always have an intense game with IUP. So, like, we were coming in and we were told, like, not to, like, underestimate them, that they can come from behind. And I don't know, when I scored, it was exciting because I scored the first goal of, like, the game. So, like, we started off and we scored first, which is always our goal. So, I don't know. It was cool. But overtime was intense. We had 2 overtimes, and it was a long time.
There was a lot of gameplay.
And you laid out for that goal. In a scrum like that in front of the goal, does your mind kind of like take over, or when you're willing to just literally sacrifice your body for that goal, was it a point in your head that you were like, hey, here's our chance, let's get out of here?
Yeah, it was just like a rush of emotions. I was like, here's the ball, like I'm gonna take it and we're gonna win this game. Like I was ready to end it.
And Christy, I know last season was a little frustrating for you, but to get the monkey off the back and get that goal here, you had 2 goals this past week, but how is that going to help moving forward now that you finally have broken through and got that goal?
I mean, it definitely gets the nerves out. Like, I'm not, like, stressed out when the game starts, like, oh, crap, I haven't scored yet. Like, I need to get this in because I've already gotten 1 and now 2 in the back of the net. So, like, it feels good. And, like, assisting a goal is just as great as scoring one because, like, I don't care who puts it in as long as it goes in. But, yeah, it was awesome. I feel way more relaxed now, especially because, like, I feel like we've all, like, kind of, like, settled into our spots. So, like, I don't know. We're doing well this year so far.
And Larissa, also early in the season, dealing with a little bit of an injury, to be able to come back and contribute in such a way, how has that been for you?
It makes me feel good that like even though like yeah I was injured, but I can still come back and contribute to the team and make things like happen more, I guess.
So with that IUP match, the non-conference conference thing, is there a different mindset and mentality to that game, or does it feel any different?
I mean, we know that it's non-conference, but we know that it's just as important, especially to show the conference teams that we're not playing, like, that we haven't played yet. Like, I don't know. It's important. It's just as important as a conference game. It may not count towards, like, the conference record, but, like, it sets the IUP and other teams, like, that we know what we're doing and that, like, we can beat any team, especially because we have to play IUP again. So, like, it's going to be even more intense the next time. But I'm glad we got, like, the first win, even though it is not conference.
And so with that, you face this team again. Do you prepare differently and do you try to hide things for the second game, or do you just go all out and still, this is who we are, this is the way we're going to play?
I mean, I feel like we know who we're going up against, especially like as forwards, like going up against their defense, we know how they play. So like we can kind of judge like what didn't work for us and be like, okay, well now we know that this is the best way to like get past them, or like we know which defender is the strongest, which is the weakest, how the goalie plays. Like it helps because it makes us more prepared instead of watching film. Like we played, like we have our own film in our minds basically because we played against them. So like we're not just watching like random people play on like a screen and hope that like we know what we're doing.
And so then Sunday, Queens came into town. They got the win in that one. What sort of really went wrong there for you guys?
As forwards, I think we just weren't positioned right in the circle. We weren't prepared. We weren't ready. We just didn't know what they were going to bring to the table.
There's a lot of weird receptions in the circle because people would get in, their backs be towards the cage, and like couldn't get the ball off, and like as a team we're just kind of out of whack, I guess. I don't know why, but like the attitudes, like we weren't ready to play as well as we should have, but like definitely we were out of position. Coach told us that, we all knew that, but like it sucks that we can't play them again because I wish we could to like really show them what we're made of, but we just got to take this loss and like let it motivate us and not let it happen again.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you take that adversity, a little bit of adversity this year, and use that moving on?
I think it fuels us for like the games that are coming next, and like we can take that and then fix whatever we need to do for the next people that we play.
And speaking of the next people you guys play, Mercyhurst, it's a long trip. What is the mentality on that long trip? That, hey, you're going to be in a bus for a while. It's one of the longest trips I believe we have to make this season. But being able to get ready and play after that long of a bus ride, is there something different or something special you guys have to do?
I mean, I feel like a lot of people usually like nap the first half of it, just because like we usually have to wake up early, and like it kind of helps you calm down a little bit because you're not just thinking about the game the entire like 6 hours or 5 hours or whatever we're on the bus. But like a lot of people nap. Sometimes I nap, sometimes I don't nap because sometimes I get bus sick, so you know that doesn't help. But like I don't know, a lot of the time we hit a point and then people turn music on, and we start getting our like gear on and getting ready, and that's when like if you listen to music by yourself, like you put your headphones on, you get in the zone. So that way when we get to the field, we have an hour to like before we have pregame to like warm up and get like our like minds right, and then usually we're good to go.
And then this Saturday coming up, a tough opponent, probably the toughest opponent you guys have seen this year. What are you doing to prepare? I don't want you guys to look ahead past Mercyhurst, but with that game and the atmosphere, you are home. That's an advantage. But what do you expect to see from them?
I mean, Chip's a good team. Like they've won the PSAC champions the past 2 years now.
Times.
So they're an intense team, and the good thing is we did see them play a little bit when we went to Connecticut because they were also there. So we watched them play a little bit, and you can definitely tell they're a younger team this year than they have been in the past because they lost a lot of seniors and they have a lot of freshmen out there. But I don't know. I feel like we prepare for them as well as we can, and knowing like what our weaknesses are, especially positioning. If we can get that on lockdown, we can definitely execute more in the circle, and then hopefully make it a good match between us and Chip.
All right, well, thank you both so much for stopping by here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
And Mounties Midweek rolls on after this.
It's a small community, close-knit, it's beautiful. Now, as we join UPMC, it just opens a whole new world.
Together, UPMC and Susquehanna Health are bringing life-changing medicine to north central Pennsylvania.
UPMC brings extraordinary innovation to virtually every aspect of the work we do.
Exchanging ideas, sharing research, it's a tremendous opportunity to learn in real time with world-class experts.
Changing lives every day. UPMC Susquehanna.
All of my wonderful teammates. That sounded cheesy.
Britt, because she's an
environmental
environmental science major.
Brittany, she's good at everything. Brittany Ryan is such a little crafty girl, and I feel like just because she's so small, she just like hide in small places, climb trees.
Yeah, she's like not afraid of bugs or
agile.
anything. Like she's
Brittany Ryan for sure.
Brittany Ryan.
Yeah, Brittany Ryan or Larissa Motts. Yeah, I mean, I feel like Britt would be pretty good. A lot of our team is like anti-outdoors, so you know they would all basically die.
Yeah.
Who would win? Christy Byer.
Oh yeah. Christy would be good.
Yes!
You were my second choice.
Thanks, Callum.
You're just very competitive.
That's because I like to win. Why would you not want to win?
I don't know.
You gotta be strategic. I watched that show. Okay. It's all in here. It's a game plan. You gotta be prepared.
I have to say,
Bodie. I feel like she just like knows survivals and she'll like think it through. So, her. Brittany Ryan. Britt and Katie got me tied for a lot of things. Katie's pretty creative. I'm sticking with Britt. If we were doing like Jersey Shore, that'd be like Gabby.
Gabby would win.
Yeah.
But there's no game.
There's no game in Jersey Shore. But if we were on Jersey Shore, Gabby would be great at it.
Yeah, she would be the one who goes to award shows.
Walks the red carpet.
Yeah.
With her freaking clothes on.
For sure. Fur coat.
Yeah.
Pets.
the whole nine.
Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference.
Oh, what a play!
18 universities.
How competitive is this?
23 championships.
It's over. We have new PSAC champs.
7,100 student athletes. Make the PSAC yours.
My PSAC is passion.
My PSAC is pride.
PSAC is Pennsylvania.
Passion, pride, Pennsylvania. The Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference.
Before we end the show, we had more plays stand out this week, but before we get ahead of ourselves, let's look at last week's winner.
Four receiver set. Back. Roppers will go towards the end zone looking for Henry. Caught! And touchdown for Quinn Henry.
This week, we have another matchup between football and field hockey. Quinn Henry makes his second appearance on Play of the Week in just as many weeks, with this play that started off the regular season.
And we are underway in the John Evans era. This one bounces back. Quinn Henry grabs it around the 5 to the 20, trying to cut up, has a hole, 30, 40, 50. Quinn Henry, hello, goodbye, thank you, and good night. That is a touchdown for Mansfield. Way to start off the season.
He coincidentally battles the athlete with the most appearances on Play of the Week, Larissa Motz, with the overtime winner against IUP. Head on over to Mountie All Access on Twitter to vote for your pick for this week. And as always, the winner will be revealed next week. That's all we got for you. Make sure you return next week for all the highlights from this week, plus the return of Out of His League. I'm Drew Patrick, and I will see you next time.